Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. I put that on my partner, I put that on my family. Oakland City represent, address me as your majesty. Yeah, you can kiss a ring, but you can never touch the crown. I smoke a million Swisher blunts and I ain't never coming down. Bitch, you ain't no Barbie, I see you work at Arby's. Never too supersized, hurry up, I'm starving. Gnarly, radical, on the block I'm magical. See me at your college campus, baggy full of Adderalls. Call me if you need a fix, call me if you need a boost. See them other chicken heads, they don't ever leave the coop. I'm in the coop cruising, I got the stolen plates, serving all the fiends over there by the Golden Gate. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis. Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. I put that on my partner, I put that on my family. Oakland City represent, address me as your majesty. Yeah, you can kiss a ring, but you can never touch the crown. I smoke a million Swisher blunts and I ain't never coming down.
Do you agree that there's no such thing as racism, sexism, homophobism, Islamophobism, deadbeat dadism, white supremacism, and all the other isms? Destiny, that's a woman's name. You were raised by your daddy and mama. That makes you half man and half woman. You are a beta. You're not a real man, beta. I just have one question for ya, beta. There's just one thing I want to know. Destiny, do you love all people? Do you really love the blacks? Destiny, do you love black people? Why can't you just answer the question? Destiny, do you love all people?
System, the company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy weird sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap, we don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pull-out game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you've got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up, N-word, catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P word is wet, come take a dive. It continues along these lines. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like, a lot more vulgar.
Your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. My children aren't going hungry. I'll do it. I'll drink your blood. And I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up? I'm gonna haul him up by chain. Chop his ass up, size it up. I'm gonna haul him up by chain. Chop, 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 chop. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass flat. I will cook your ass up so fast, and I'll tell them, oh, I killed a cow out back, baby. You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. And that's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to get my hands around your throat.
over your neighbor's dog. What's great for a snack and fits on your back? It's long, long, long. It's long, long. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's long, long. It's better than that, it's good. Everyone wants a long. You're gonna love it long. Come on and get your long. Everyone needs a long.
Log from Blammo.
It's another Beware broadcast. Let's go! How's it going, chat? How you doing? How you been? Welcome to the Beware broadcast. It is Tuesday, January 3rd. We got a crazy stream lined up for you today. Happy New Year, Milquetoast. Good to see you, Prez. How's it going? We got all sorts of crazy stuff happening. Some people are bringing in the new year hot, and we're gonna see what's happening with them. All sorts of great action. And then when we run out of new music that I just dropped randomly, when we run out of content, you're gonna help me buy a harp. I think I'm gonna buy a harp, everybody. It's the new thing I need and want in my life, and I'm gonna buy me a harp. That's kind of the goal. So help me. What makes a good harp? Do I need to bring it around? Will it sound good? Questions I need your help answering. It should be a productive second half, back half. And yeah, so we got all sorts of good content. Good to see you. I gotta figure out a new schedule. I gotta start working at 9 in the morning like a normal person. Can you believe it? And I don't really know what I'm gonna do with myself. Am I gonna do evening streams and try to jump into the debate circuit and chit chat with? I know chatting with Globus was a lot of fun, and I know that who is it? I mean, there's a bunch of like debate streamers. I'd love to get in that circuit. It would be fun. And then there's or I get up super early and do what Heem did and just 7 to 9, everybody. Super early morning streams. We cover the news. Try to get some Brits in here. Who knows? So I gotta figure that out by the end of this week. Help me make a decision. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm barely in control of it. Okay. Falling asleep at 9 in the morning and waking up at 4:20. It's probably not healthy. But hey, we got a good stream. We got all sorts of crazy content lined up. We got two main stories. The first is Dana White apparently got caught by TMZ, or somebody posted something to TMZ of him fighting with his wife physically. I'm gonna sneeze. I tried to mute it. I tried. I'm sorry, chat. Oh god, I got the worst sinuses. So we're gonna check that out, and he has some weak ass apology I haven't listened to yet. It's gonna be ridiculous. And then after that, there's a congressman who just got voted into office who like lied about who he is, and now like authorities like might extradite him from Brazil. He might be the first congressman to get extradited by a foreign power. And it weaves really nicely with the story about Trump's foreign bank accounts that hasn't gotten enough play. So we got all sorts of fun stuff lined up. So 3 major sections. I know what's happening. I'm organized. We're gonna have a good stream. So let's hop to everybody. Let's get to the very main story. Also, how you doing? It is an extremely warm, unusually warm day here in Montreal. It's cloudy. It's kind of grim, but like above 0. There's like barely any snow on the ground. My feet are getting wet. It's weird. I'm so confused. I come from a northern part of the province, and so like I mean, during my Christmas holidays, they literally had to pile snow up into the middle of the street because there's so much of it, so that you can like, you know, have traffic, and you're still driving like it was crazy. Toronto has an anti-snow force field. We got nothing during that big storm. Really? You got nothing? Oh man. I mean, us, it's usually really wet and damp, so the cold just gets into your bones because of the Saint Laurent. But okay, let's get to American news, American politics, American things. I do have one Canadian story lined up, and it's a fascinating one. Apparently, some lawyer started putting a tag. He hired investigators to track a judge who was who's overseeing the case, and he put private detectives on him. So that'll be like a little juicy, I don't know how you say, dessert after the main segments. So let's get to it. Let's get to the main story of the day. That's right, we are talking about Dana White. Now, I've been following Dana White since I was a kid. My brother and I used to be huge into UFC, watched all the shows, we love this. I have a martial arts background, and Avery's always been a bit, it's always been a lot of fighting. So there is a little expose here, and he says there's no excuse for physical altercation. Let's you decide.
Dana, why don't you just tell us what happened that night? What happened leading up to that video?
Well, I'm in Cabo, Mexico, for the holiday.
Is this audio only? Okay, sorry, my computer's stressing out, so I'm gonna crash the jelly, live jelly reaction.
And my wife and I were out Saturday night on New Year's Eve.
Bye-bye.
And, you know, unfortunately, that's what happened.
So, like, he's grabbing her hand pretty hard. She's not having it. Grabbing her again. She hits him. And then he claps back. Bro. And then he's trying to control the fight like it's a octagon or something. That's not good. That's what they say in the industry, a bad look. You know, you do that. Oh my God, they're still at it.
One of the guys, you know, you've heard me say for years, there's never, ever an excuse for a guy to put his hands on a woman. And now here I am on TMZ talking about it. My wife and I have been married for almost 30 years.
Oh, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. Oh, jeez.
Known each other since we were 12 years old. We've obviously been through some shit together. And we've got 3 kids. And, you know, this is one of those situations
Yikes.
that's, you know, horrible. I'm embarrassed, but it's also one of those situations that
Embarrassed.
is, you know,
Aw.
right now, we're more
He's embarrassed,
concerned
everybody.
about our kids. You know,
Sorry, you're right. Let's go back to his. Let's do that again. Sorry, I had to load
I'm one of the
the-
guys, you know, you've heard
Thank
me
you.
say for years, there's never, ever an excuse for a guy to put his hands on a woman. And now here I am on TMZ talking about it. But
Classic.
my wife and I have been married for almost 30 years. We've known each other since we were 12 years old. We've obviously been through some shit together. And we've got 3 kids. And, you know, this is one of those situations that's,
It's like
you know,
all the more reason not to beat your wife.
horrible. I'm embarrassed, but it's also one of those situations that is, you know, right now we're more concerned about our kids. You know, we have 3 kids, and you know, obviously, since the video popped up, we've shown the kids the video, and you know, we're more focused on our family right now. People are going to have opinions on this, and most of the people's opinions would be right, and especially in my case.
Opinions, chat. Looks like they're both free, available, and you're probably gonna be right. So have at it.
You don't put your hands on a woman ever. My wife and I obviously love each other.
I'm pretty sure this guy can take.
We've been together for a very long time. We've known each other since we were very little, and this is just one of those unfortunate situations.
You were at a place in Cabo that where alcohol flows.
Yeah, I mean, Dana, what we were told by people who were in the club, that it, at least to them, seemed that there was a lot of alcohol involved in this situation.
There was definitely a lot of alcohol involved, but that's
doesn't
no
excuse
excuse. I literally am making no
already
excuses
said
for
it.
this thing at all. It's never happened before. It's the first time that it's
Also, here's the tweet, everybody. If you want to go, like and retweet.
ever happened. And people
Juice it.
are going to say what they're going to say. It's just is what it is. And whatever people do say, it's deserved. I deserve it. It happened. I don't know why it happened. And, you know, my wife and I
Don't know.
have
why.
apologized to each other. We've apologized to our kids. And, you know, this is one of those things that everybody's going to chime in. I could care less what anybody else thinks about this. Right now, what we're more concerned about are our kids and taking care of our family.
In the video that we've seen, it seems like this what started and was over in less than a minute. Is that we
Is it
don't?
just me? Is there a lot of minimizing happening from the hosts?
I haven't seen any video beyond that. Is it fair to say that this ended? How did this situation end?
That was the beginning of it and the end of it. And, you know, we're still on vacation. You know, everything. You're talking about somebody who is, you know, her and I have known each other since we were 12 years old, and we've been married for almost 30 years. So,
What? Why does he keep mentioning that?
you know, we're obviously best
Hitched?
friends. She's my wife, and you know, we had too much to drink, and whatever happened that night happened. But yeah, that was it, and it was done.
Dana, the final thing, you say whatever happened that night happened. Do you remember it?
No,
Wow.
no, I don't remember a lot. So yeah, no. Obviously, this thing, you know, it's one of those situations. It's embarrassing for both of us, but more
Embarrassing
importantly,
thing.
what we're more concerned about are our kids. We're concerned about. Listen,
Weird.
nobody knows you better than your kids know you. They grow up in your house with you. They see everything. They hear everything. They know everything.
Okay.
And everybody always asks me, you know, questions about, well, do I care about this? Do I care about that? And my question is always the same. My legacy and all this other stuff with work doesn't mean anything to me. It's all about your family, you know? It's about your wife and kids and in this situation too. Like I'm saying, everybody's going to have an opinion. we're just worried about our family and focused on our kids right now. But me and my wife are cool. We're good.
Can we hear her say it? Can we get her to say that she's good? I don't know. Do you buy it, chat? It seems a bit sus. I don't know. I don't know. He was like, it was wrong. I'm totally embarrassed. We're both embarrassed, in fact. It's kind of both of our fault. And we're just super worried about the kids. People are going to say what they're going to say. It doesn't really matter. We're going to ignore them. We'll do this quick little apology. But my wife is not going to appear on camera. Can you just imagine if she has like a black eye? Like, can you imagine? Huh. UFC fighter hurts their significant other. Tell me a story I haven't heard before. So here's, I guess, the write-up. They called him a honcho. It was a crowded Cabo San Lucas nightclub, fueled by booze. Things took a turn. Oh, jeez. And by the second line, they've mentioned how long they've been married for. The couple in the group were in a VIP area above the dance floor, and when Dana leaned over to say something to Anne, she reacted by slapping him across the face. Dana immediately slapped her back in the face before friends jumped in and pulled them apart. I mean, I saw a lot of grabbing of her wrists, too. Oh, jeez. He's embarrassed. He says they're good. Meanwhile, Anne tells TMZ Sports, quote, Dana and I have been married for almost 30 years. What is with this? They're like, it's like they talk to their PR agent and they're like, okay, just focus on the fact that you two have loved each other for a really long time. Quote, to say this is out of character for him is an understatement. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Unfortunately, we were both drinking too much on New Year's Eve and things got out of control on both sides. We've talked this through as a family and apologized to each other. I just hope people will respect our privacy for the sake of our kids. Talking to TMZ of all people, saying, please respect our privacy. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, geez. Gosh. Okay. I think there's another little piece of this.
TMZ just obtained footage of Dana White and his wife getting into a physical altercation at a nightclub on New Year's Eve. We can't play the footage, however, it's on TMZ's website. Dana White gave a statement to TMZ.
Okay. Yeah, I think we just watched that. Now watch my channel gets taken down by TMZ for like the one view.
Right now, we're more concerned about our kids.
I think someone layered the audio over the video on this one. Sorry, I thought I went through this content. A lot of it's really bad. Okay, here we go. This is a bit more of the commentary. So We Want Pick says, I love Dana and everything he has done for the sport, but he needs to be fired. If we want to be a credible sport, we need to be treated as such. Roger Goodell would be fired, so would Adam Silver, Rob Manfred, and Gary Bettman. Had to Google that one. I have no idea who those people are, but imagine they're like the heads of particular martial arts or whatever. Oh, damn, I thought it was the new embedded for the slap league. Oh, that's bad. All jokes aside, handled it the right way. Wonder if this will be ignored like John Jones, or if they will mark the end of Dana White and usher in the Hunter Campbell era. Does the UFC survive if Dana White is no longer involved? Greg Hardy, Dana White. 48 hours into 2023. Jeremy Renner nearly died. DeMar Hamlin's heart stops after a hit. Ken Block dies. And Dana White hitting his wife leaks. By tomorrow, the media will be the real problem, not Dana White beating his wife. Sellouts will be competing to see who can make smacking her multiple times sound as harmless as possible. And here you go, almost immediately underneath it. The wife hit first. She belongs in jail, and Dana White is a victim of abuse. That's like some real incel energy. The guy's an actual MMA. Like, come on. From 2014.
Dana, let's talk a little bit about Thiago Silva. After his domestic, violence arrest, you took him back. You originally said he'd never fight in the UFC again. Why'd you take him back?
Yeah, he said he'd never fight in the UFC again when his SWAT team was around his house and things weren't looking too good for Thiago Silva.
Makes
you know?
sense. Good point. That's legit.
Yeah, when the SWAT team is surrounding your house, probably a good chance you're in big trouble. But you know, he went through the process, and no charges were filed against him, and you know, they let him go. He basically he walked away. He went through the process. And nothing happened to the guy. So you're innocent until proven guilty. They did not prove that he was guilty of anything. And
Yeah, but it's a court of public opinion, my guy. We don't have to have that kind of standard. We don't have to say beyond a reasonable doubt. Like, you can just, I don't know, talk to people.
And the guy walks. Different than the NFL case where, you know, this thing was going on probably since March or April, I think. I don't remember exactly, but now there's a video. There's a video of what actually happened. And obviously, if there was some type of video or something like that turned up on Thiago, then, yeah, it would be a different story.
Hey, Dana, what's next for Hector Lombard? It appears no one wants to fight this monster. It's tough to get him a fight.
Okay, so they moved on. It's funny that the video matters so much and that he has, within 24 hours, you know, apparently it seems like he's talked to a PR line because both him and his wife are like, focus on the same thing. Like, we've been married forever and like we love our kids. And he's immediately talked to TMZ, who broke the story, with a video, like, went on camera. It's interesting. A Troy named Sue says, quote, remember when the UFC hired independent investigators if a fighter was accused of domestic violence, and 100% of the time they said there was no evidence of wrongdoing, and also those independent investigators were Dana White's personal lawyers? Yeah, still a coincidence, surely. That's a good one. That's a good one. My only slap fighting comments from John S. Nash. I have no clue what people will accept anymore, but one would think that Dana White could not be used as the head of Slap League. Oh my god, they're doing a Slap League? No! Oh no! Oh no! You can't! Oh, you can't! You can't! And I'm not sure Slap League without his involvement is viable. Oh no! Oh no! Is there a UFC Slap League coming up? Oh, make it stop. The SummerSlam. Not slam, slap. Power Slap League. Dana White announces Power Slap. He announced it like a month ago. Dana White announces Power Slap League to air on TBS. Clarifies rule set. This was in November 11th, 2022. Should have been remembering our fallen soldiers. Dana White's Power Slap League will have a cable television home in 2023. Oh, this made this story way spicier. Man, this story slaps. Okay, there it is. Got it out of my system. Okay, I'm done. White revealed during a press conference in New York that an 8-episode deal is in place for Power Slap to air on TBS beginning in January. The league gained approval from the Nevada Athletic Commission in October for regulation. The UFC president will not run the day-to-day operations, but did say that there will be similar medical testing as the UFC, along with drug testing for the competitors. Additionally, the rules of the league were given to members of the media ahead of the press conference in the form of a glossary, which you can see below. All right, chat, here we go. We should just edit this and add in that, you know, not allowed to beat your wife. Oh, God. The brand, Power Slap, is comprised of the best strikers and defenders in the world. The organization should always be referred to primarily as Power Slap, in all caps. Alternatively, it may also be referred to as Slap. Do not use terms such as slap fight, that's a no, or slap fighting comp championship, that's a double no, or Power Slap League. Weight classes consistent with the MMA. In venue, the Power Slap Arena, the Power Slap Table, the Power Slap Coin. Okay, I can't. The Power Slap Shtick. There are no slappers. The athletes are not called slappers. They're called fighters. Strikers and defenders, everybody. Come on. There's 3 to 5 rounds. Heads with the Power Slap logo. Finishes. Points. Knockout. Technical knockout. Disqualification. No contest. Technical decision. Fouls. If the striker is stepping, clubbing, illegal windup, delay of match. Defender can't flinch, they can't block, and they can't delay of match. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe they're starting a slap league. That's way too on the nose. Dana's White Power Slap League. Stop. That's actually so funny. I can't. Oh no. My blankie. Okay. Alright. This is peak internet. My brain is leaking out of my ears. Okay, here is Andrew Tate, locked up in a prison cell. We got Andrew Tate as a little emote over there. Just because it's just kind of funny. Just kind of tickles me pink, as they say. Okay, so I don't know. Do you think Dana White's gonna get away with this? You think is Dana White's Power Slap? I can't even say it. It's awful. Okay, we're moving along at a breakneck speed. We're getting to the second story of the day. Maybe a little palate cleanser in between. We've got Maya rage quitting, which was a good little clip. And play. Already has 200,000 views. That's wild.
Click this.
Whoa. Hey, computer, you doing okay? You doing all right there, buddy?
Oh.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I think it's because there's, like, way too much going on. All right, let's set this clip over. See, I thought her outfit looked cute.
Click this.
And I always love cooking streams.
Oh.
Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It's Arthur. And I said, hey, what a wonderful time of day.
Yeah, whatever. I'm ending.
That's the state of the stream, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. GG. No re. That's what I need. I need a little thank you for watching.
Click this.
Now, did she end it on purpose? Her casserole is done. Time to eat.
Oh.
But that O is really funny. That's so good.
Yeah, whatever. I'm ending.
Excuse me. Okay, so a little palate cleanser. Moving on. So this is a story that I've just find fascinating. Brazilian authorities will revive a fraud case against George Santos. And this court case has been suspended because the cops couldn't find Mr. Santos. So this is like a little rabbit hole, and I'm pretty sure this guy just got elected to Congress, and all sorts of stuff is coming out about him, and it's really fun. I don't know, it's a sort of like who does this thing that you can only really expect from American politics. So yeah, let's get into it. That's a bit loud. I'm sorry, chat. Okay, so this is Grace Ashford and Andre Spigariol from the New York Times. Although George had once admitted to using a stolen checkbook in Brazil, he now asserts that he is not a criminal here or in Brazil. When representative-elect, so yeah, he's been elected to Congress. That's awesome. So good. So good. When Representative-elect George Santos takes his seat in Congress on Tuesday, he will do so under the shadow of active investigations by federal and local prosecutors into potential criminal activity during his 2 congressional campaigns. Oh, so he got re-elected? Oh, jeez. But an older criminal case may be more pressing. Oh, I should change the title. What was the title to this? Oh, I was just about to get into it. Man, I just find it hilarious. Imagine you just get reelected to Congress and then like Brazilian officials want to arrest you. They're like, oh geez, this guy's in the news. We should go get him. He seems like we can go get him. Now that he's an elected official. Alright. Brazilian law enforcement authorities intend to revive fraud charges against Mr. Santos and will seek his formal response, prosecutors said on Monday. The matter, which stemmed from an incident in 2008 regarding a stolen checkbook, had been suspended for the better part of a decade because the police were unable to locate him. And that's definitely a long enough time that he thought he was good, that he was free. A spokeswoman for the Rio de Janeiro prosecutor's office said that with Mr. Santos's whereabouts identified, a formal request will be made to the U.S. Justice Department to notify him of the charges, a necessary step after which the case will proceed with or without him. The criminal case in Brazil was first disclosed in the New York Times investigation that uncovered broad discrepancies in his resume and questions about his financial dealings. Yeah, this is the story I first heard about, where it's like, the guy that was elected to office is like a complete fraud or something crazy. Grace Ashford has the byline again, so she's been following this down. Who is this person? His resume. You too, Chad, can just lie on your CV and it will get you places. It's awesome. He said he worked at Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, but neither firm had records of his employment. Like, come on. Yeah, I'm a professor at Harvard in law. Just a month before his 20th birthday, Mr. Santos entered a small clothing store in the Brazilian city of Niterói outside Rio de Janeiro. He spent nearly $700 using a stolen checkbook and a false name, court records show. Mr. Santos admitted the fraud to the shop owner in August 2009, writing on Orkut, a popular social media website in Brazil, "I know I screwed up, but I want to pay." In 2010, he and his money told the police that he had stolen the checkbook of a man his mother used to work for and used it to make fraudulent purchases. A judge approved the charge in September 2011 and ordered Mr. Santos to respond to the case. But by October, he was already in the United States and working at Dish Network in College Point, Queens, company records show. Despite his earlier confessions, Mr. Santos has recently denied any criminal involvement, telling the New York Post, quote, "I am not a criminal here, not here or in Brazil or any jurisdiction in the world." Okay, all right. Joe Murray, a lawyer for Mr. Santos, said on Monday, quote, "I am in the process of engaging local counsel to address this alleged complaint against my client." Mr. Santos is swearing in on Tuesday as the representative of New York's 3rd Congressional District was already set to take place amid a cloud of scrutiny. Last week, irregularities in Mr. Santos's campaign spending emerged, including $40,000 on flights and payments for rent that are linked to an address where Mr. Santos is reported to be staying, a possible violation of the ban on using campaign funds for personal expenses. Mr. Santos also lied about graduating from college and had misled voters about having worked for Citigroup and Goldman Sachs. He also acknowledged owing thousands of dollars in unpaid rent and withdrew his claim that he owned multiple properties. He's a bit of a deadbeat, you know? A bit of a deadbeat guy. The next step for Brazilian prosecutors is to file a petition when the courts reopen at the end of the week requesting that Mr. Santos respond to the charges against him. A judge would then share the request, called a rogatory letter, with the Federal Justice Ministry in Brazil, which would share it to the DOJ. Neither the Justice Department nor Brazilian authorities can compel Mr. Santos to respond at this point, but Mr. Santos must be officially notified in order for the case to proceed. A criminal conviction, even for a felony, is not on its own an act that would disqualify a congressional member from holding office. The last time a member of Congress was removed from office for breaking the law was in 2002, when James A. Trafficant Jr. was removed after conviction on felony racketeering and corruption charges. His name was Trafficant Jr. Jesus. If Mr. Santos does not present a defense in the Brazilian case, he will be tried in absentia. Absentia or abstentia? Should be a T there? Abstentia. No T. Okay, I'm weird. If found guilty, Mr. Santos could receive up to 5 years in prison plus a fine. 5 years? Oh, sheesh. Oh, geez. His term's only 2 years, I thought. Manuela Andrioni and Michael Gold contributed reporting, and Michael Gold has the byline on the other one. So this guy built his candidacy on the notion that he was the, quote, full embodiment of the American dream and was running to safeguard it for others. His campaign biography amplified his storybook journey. He is the son of Brazilian immigrants and the first openly gay Republican to win a House seat as a non-incumbent. By his account, he catapulted himself from a New York City public college to become a, quote, seasoned Wall Street financier and investor with a family-owned real estate portfolio of 13 properties and an animal rescue charity that saved more than 2,500 dogs and cats. But a New York Times review of public documents and court filings from the US and Brazil, as well as various attempts to verify claims that Mr. Santos, 34, made on the campaign trail, calls into question key parts of the resume that he sold to voters. Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, the marquee Wall Street firms on Mr. Santos's campaign biography, told the Times that they had no record of his ever working there. Officials at Barrack College, which Mr. Santos has said he graduated from in 2010, could find no record of anyone matching his name and date of birth graduating that year. There's also little evidence that his animal rescue group, Friends of Pets United, was, as Mr. Santos claimed, a tax-exempt organization. The Internal Revenue Service could locate no record of a registered charity with that name. His financial disclosure forms suggest a life of some wealth. He lent his campaign more than $700,000 during the midterm election, has donated thousands of dollars to other candidates in the last 2 years, and reported the $750,000 salary and over $1 million in dividends from his company, the Devolder organization. The Devolder? The Devolder? Ew. I don't like how that sounds in my mouth. Yet the firm, which has no public website or LinkedIn page, is something of a mystery. On a campaign website, Mr. Santos once described Devolder as his family's firm that managed $80 million in assets. On his congressional financial disclosure, he described it as a capital introduction consulting company. What? A type of boutique firm that serves as a liaison between investment funds and deep-pocketed investors. He's a middleman for rich folk. Middleman for rich folk, that's what that means. But Mr. Santos's disclosures did not reveal any clients. What? An omission 3 election law experts said could be problematic if such clients exist. And while Mr. Santos has described a family fortune in real estate, he has not disclosed, nor could the Times find records of his properties. Mr. Santos's 8-point victory in a district in northern Long Island and northeast Queens that previously favored Democrats was considered a mild upset. He had lost decisively in the same district in 2020 to Tom Suozzi, then the Democratic incumbent, and had seemed to be too wedded to former President Donald Trump and his stances to flip his fortunes. His appearance earlier this month at a gala in Manhattan, attended by white nationalists, oh my god. Of course. There's Mayor Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, so Steve Bannon. The leader of the Young Republican Club, Gavin Mario Wax, opened Saturday's night event on Park Avenue in Manhattan by calling for total war on Republican enemies. So yeah, it's about as bad as it sounds. Sheesh. At the same time, new revelations uncovered by the Times, including the omission of key information on Mr. Santos's personal financial disclosures and criminal charges for check fraud in Brazil, have the potential to create ethical and possibly legal challenges once he takes office. Mr. Santos did not respond to repeated requests from the Times that he furnish either documents or a resume with dates that would help to substantiate the claims he made on the campaign trail. He also declined to be interviewed, and neither his lawyer nor Big Dog Strategies, a Republican-oriented political consulting group that handles crisis management, responded to a detailed list of questions. Man, even the guys he hired to help him navigate the crisis are like, I don't know, man. I don't know about this. I don't know if I can do anything. The lawyer, Joe Murray, said in the short statement that it was, quote, no surprise that Santos has enemies at the New York Times who are attempting to smear his good name with these defamatory allegations. Brazil's a whole ass country. You think they're lying? Okay, so that's George Santos, everybody. And here is a guest essay. A con man is succeeding me in Congress today. Tom Suozzi. This is January 3rd, 2023. Penned at 5 a.m. Get him. Get him. Get him good. Mr. Suozzi, a Democrat, has represented New York's 3rd congressional district since 2017. He is a former Nassau County executive and mayor of Glen Cove on Long Island and ran for the Democratic nomination for governor of New York in 2022. Here is his op-ed about this curious character, George Santos. Today is my last day as a member of Congress. George Santos is about to be sworn in to take the seat I held for 6 years. He will take an oath to bear true faith to the Constitution and take this obligation without any purpose of evasion. I've lost track of how many evasions and lies Mr. Santos has told about himself, his finances, and his history and relationship with our stretch of Long Island and northeastern Queens. When he is seated, it will diminish our Congress, our country, and my constituents. Soon, his constituents. It saddens me that after 30 years of public service, rooted in hard work and service to the people of this area, I am being succeeded by a con man. Good opener. Yet I'm clinging to my sense of optimism. I believe that as slow and frustrating as it sometimes is, our democracy, our free press, and the rule of law work. They have to. I don't follow you there. What do you mean they have to? Democracy can fail, my guy. It can just fail. I also know the voters of the 3rd District pretty well. They believe in the rule of law, in playing by the rules. They like authenticity in their leaders and pride themselves on having a good BS detector. Whoops. The fact is that Mr. Santos's behavior went beyond BS. He fabricated the basics of his biography to an extent that most voters wouldn't have thought possible. The shame would be too great, right? I am certain that if the 3rd District's voters have an opportunity to weigh in on his political future again, he will be gone. But for now, there is no getting around the fact that Mr. Santos's con game is a manifestation of a growing political phenomenon of saying or doing anything with no automatic consequences. Whether it be far-right election deniers, personal attacks that call for violence against opponents, claims of false flag mass shootings, extremists spouting the first thing that comes to mind, and even one politician saying he could, quote, shoot somebody on 5th Avenue and still not lose supporters. If we are going to subdue the tyranny of unchecked liars and their lies, then Mr. Santos must be held accountable. He must be removed by Congress or by prosecutors because there's no indication that he will be removed by conscience to voluntarily resign. I do not say these things lightly. Expelling a member of Congress is no easy task, and the bar is rightly high. Our country's democracy is based on free and fair elections, the wisdom of the voters, lol, and the peaceful transfer of power, double lol. Some of my constituents even now are saying that they don't want their vote overridden and Mr. Santos ousted. But now we know that no one voted for the real George Santos. Sure, some candidates say and do anything to get into office and then abuse the public trust. In Mr. Santos, we have someone who abused the public trust even before he got into office. It's mind-boggling to think what his actions and conversations will be like in Congress on behalf of his constituents. I know from my experience as a mayor of my hometown, as a county executive, and as a member of Congress, that you cannot get things done without building trust with your colleagues. How can Mr. Santos be trusted? How could he be affected? Even before Mr. Santos' lies were exposed in the media, he showed himself to be an avatar of this age of no consequences impunity. He ran against me in 2020. It was the middle of the COVID pandemic. He did not live in the district and no one had heard of him. He had little on campaign funds, and during our few joint campaign appearances, all virtual, he came across as a phony. I ignored him, hardly mentioned his name, and beat him by 12 points. On election night 2020, Mr. Santos jumped on Donald Trump's discredited Stop the Steal bandwagon. We knew on election day we had won and won big, but he used the Trump movement to raise funds online and attended the orientation for new members before the race was called. I was sworn in on January 3rd, 2021 without much ado. Then we learned he attended the January 6th Trump rally at the Ellipse. He went on to boast that he had written, quote, a nice check for a law firm to help defendants who had stormed the Capitol. He probably didn't even do that. His behavior should have alerted us all, but he wasn't taken seriously, and unfortunately, as Robert Zimmerman, his Democratic opponent in the 2020 election, has said, the press didn't really grasp the level of his deceit. His actions and comments around January 6th didn't have the consequences they should have. We now know more about his phony biographical information. We are appalled by his insensitive and fallacious pandering to the Jewish community. His apology tour has been cringeworthy. Look, yeah, it's an old boomer using the word cringe. And continues to raise more disturbing questions. We will learn more about his newfound wealth and questionable financial disclosures in campaign financing as the press, law enforcement, and ideally, the House Ethics Committee dig in. But we already know enough, and I'm pretty sure the Republicans are going to scuttle this as quickly as possible. Could he be enjoying all the attention? This inexperienced newcomer who fabricated much of his life story is now better known than most members of Congress, including me. He's becoming as well known as others who abuse trust, like Sam Bankman-Fried and Bernie Madoff. Not unlike them, he appears to have conducted his finances in highly unusual, if not unlawful ways. But I have to wonder, having seen his delight for attention and his self-regard, if he loves that everyone now knows his name, even though it's not because of yet another big lie. The people in my district are holding rallies, signing petitions, and calling on the Republican leadership to act. The district is a model for moderation, seen by most political observers as a 50-50 district, with constituents who embrace a get her done attitude. They dislike partisanship and value tell it like it is leadership. They are now being saddled with a slippery, inexperienced latter who tells it like it isn't. Whoa, got him. Whoa. That was an Uno reverse card right there. They've been reaching out every day to ask, how could this have happened and what can we do? We are counting on the press to keep digging in, law enforcement, yada, yada, yada. But again, I believe we will get this right. So many panicked people came to me during Mr. Trump's presidency, fearful that his tactics would win a second term, and one with a mandate, no less. He lost. I was one of the last people in the chamber as the January 6th riot intensified, and people legitimately worried that the insurrectionists would succeed. We certified the election that night, and more than 960 people have been charged. The election deniers were decisively turned back. One of my favorite lines from the 2011 film The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel has always stayed with me. Everything will be alright in the end, so if it is not alright, then it is not yet the end. That's how I feel about America right now. Jesus. It's not a naive idea, it's what keeps us sane and able to move forward in the age of Mr. Santos and Mr. Trump. The system works, if not right away, then ultimately. It has worked throughout our history and it will work now. Okay. Alright. Okay, buddy. Uh-huh. Okay. I think that's the George Santos arc. Fully covered. So we got a bit more fun stuff from January 6th. Some pretty saucy headlines. But then I just bought God of War, so maybe we switch it up. I could play God of War. I haven't seen anything from this game. I've seen very little, so I feel like I would enjoy playing it. I don't know if my computer can handle it. It did not handle Elden Ring at all. I was falling through the floor, and it was very frustrating. But yeah, we got a couple stories. I find this one interesting. Yesterday, there were 4 attempts to remove the @Elon Jet story from the Streisand Effect Wikipedia page. And I think if you were to go to... I think they locked it. Is it still locked? Well, there was one point that they had to lock this because the Elon Jet thing kept on getting added and deleted. So yeah, the ban drew further media coverage and public attention to Musk's comments on allowing free speech across the Twitter platform. And then he banned journalists and got rid of Twitter Spaces because his fifis were hurt. Oh yeah, there's this really strange story. This is worth covering just on its own. Man, Canada's serving up some good ones. Look at this. Look at this one. Lawyer who represented churches in battle over COVID mandates charged with intimidating judge. Absolutely wild.
Group involved in a court battle against COVID-19 restrictions in Manitoba is being charged after he hired a private investigator to spy on the judge who oversaw the case. John Carpe is president of the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms group that represented 7 Manitoba churches in court in 2021 who were challenging the public health orders put in place by the province. But Carpe also admitted to hiring a private investigation firm to spy on Chief Justice Glenn Joyal during the case, and now he will face charges. Carpe, who is from Calgary, faces an attempt to obstruct justice charge and an intimidation of a justice system participant charge. Joyal ruled that Manitoba's public health orders were justified and were reasonable.
Yeah, just gonna hire me a private eye to see if I can convince the judge. Bit of extrajudicial reasoning. All right. So yeah, the suspect, 55-year-old John Carpe, was picked up in Calgary after a Canada-wide warrant was issued for his arrest. Accused of hiring a private investigation firm to tail Court of King's Bench Chief Justice Glenn Joyal, an allegation that stems from a high-profile constitutional challenge in 2021. A group representing a number of Manitoba churches opposed to COVID-19 public health orders, for which police say Carpe was a legal representative, took the province to court in May 2021. Joyal presided over the matter at a special hearing. Oh wait, let's see. We got some more stuff here.
Right now, they think they can judge the church.
For months, some Manitobans have fought back and even publicly protested against the province's
There are dozens of
COVID-19
them.
public health orders.
But
But
we will
one
only bend a knee to Jesus Christ.
group currently challenging them in court now admits to having the presiding judge tailed to see if he is following the orders. In court Monday morning, Manitoba's Chief Justice
Trying to catch the judge and being a hypocrite. What a petty.
Glenn Joyal says a private investigator followed him last Thursday as he left the courthouse to do errands. He had someone question his daughter at his home and did surveillance of both his home and cottage.
That's unhinged. You found his cottage?
He says, I'm deeply concerned that this type of private investigative surveillance and conduct could or would be used in any case involving any presiding judge in a high-profile
Yeah, no kidding.
adjudication. Joyal is working on a decision in the lawsuit brought forward by 7 churches and the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms. They're challenging the validity and constitutionality of the province's public health orders.
Does this mean he has to pass it off to a different judge? Like, it kind of scuttles his reasoning?
After Joyal voiced his concerns at the hearing, the center's president, John Carpe, admitted to hiring the PI, but claims it's unrelated to the litigation.
Yeah?
We also seek
Totally
to hold government
unrelated.
officials accountable to the rule of law. We believe that the public has a right to know.
The Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms admits to tailing a judge, saying you're trying to hold the government officials accountable to the rule of law. That doesn't sound like the rule of law, my guy.
Whether or not government officials are complying with public health orders. The group gave the example of a recent photo of Alberta Premier Jason Kenney, who was photographed contravening orders by having dinner with
Yeah, sure, but you don't do it to the judge who's presiding over a court case you brought to the, like, are you insane?
cabinet members, but says in this circumstance, it
Totally
made a
unrelated.
mistake. It was
Big mistake.
inappropriate and an error in judgment on my part to have included you with other government officials because the case is not concluded. The center also admits to having...
Oh yeah, we got a court case with you? I forgot about that. I'm sorry. We put marks out on all government officials. We forgot to exclude you. We forgot that we were that you were presiding over our case.
Provincial
Sorry.
officials in Manitoba and across the country followed for the same reasons. However, it has not disclosed the targets of other surveillance. Brittany Greenslade, Global News.
That's crazy. Churches are out here spying on people. Like, what is going on? In a statement at the time, Joyelle said he was deeply concerned. Do we have any statements? Manitoba pastor calls on Springs Church to stop fighting coronavirus. Can we get... I want to see this pastor. Okay, so this... Oh, of course. These people have represented pro-life groups who want to show graphic material on university campuses and street preachers
Springs Church
ticketed for
canceled
noise
its
complaints.
4 drive-in services this weekend after
Constitutional freedom to show you baby fetuses, like Jesus.
losing a court battle against the province. But now it's other pastors who are stepping in to ask Springs to obey the rules.
It can look insensitive.
I just wonder if, like, at any point these people wonder.
To be insisting on worshiping together when there are people dying, when there's so many grieving families.
Pastor Eric
Hey, that
Parker
guy gets
penned an open letter on his website, The Millennial Pastor, calling out Springs Church and its pastors, saying, "We find your actions during the past days of encouraging Christians to disobey public health orders in the name of freedom are not an example of following Christ."
Ultimately, the call of Christians is to
Not a true Scotsman, everybody.
love one
Christian.
another, love the world, to care for the world as best we can. And so I think fighting for our rights to worship, when it's only been gatherings are only suspended for a temporary amount of time, and it's actually, we still can worship online, but we can't gather in person for a temporary amount of time, it comes across as selfish to me.
Springs is not the only church disagreeing with the province on public health orders. On Sunday, the Church of God Restoration south of Steinbach was fined again for its drive-in service. Springs did opt for online services only on the weekend. The church has not responded to our request for interviews, but in one of Sunday's services, Pastor Leon Fontaine prayed for leaders.
That wherever leaders, Father, are making decisions that hurt and they're not wise, Father, we pray, move in leaders with wisdom. We pray that in your wonderful name. Amen and amen.
Well, the problem is
Pastor
that,
Parker is challenging
they're not all
Springs Church to
following-
apologize and donate any money that was set aside for...
They're not following the same source. They're all kind of interpreting, making it up as they go. Okay, so I think I'm gonna switch things up. Let's play some God of War. Huh? God of War, everybody? I haven't played this game at all. I'm kind of excited for it. I'm just gonna switch things up on Twitch. What is this like? First time. There we go. Good enough. Okay. Now the hard part is that YouTube is so hard. You can't like switch categories with YouTube so easily. That's what's kind of beautiful about Twitch. Let's see if it even goes though. If you're on YouTube and watching, coming over to Twitch, I'm ending the stream there. Bye.